I mean, yeah. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Kellen here, just on a rant. You'll see what will you do when a Karen comes to you? Karen, take it from the bad boys type thing. But what will you do when a Karen, man, I'm like addicted to these Karen videos. I just watch them over and over, and I can't get enough of them. But I just want to know, like, what are you going to do when you have somebody not minding their business? And it happens to everybody. I know it's happened to me. I know the most recent one. I was in Washington State, and a woman wanted to know, and she was in a handicap thing, and she was an older woman, but she was like, "What are you doing parked in the handicapped thing?" And I'm thinking, here I am at the register. Here I am. You don't know who's with me. I had my kid. She saw that, but I said, "Do you not see in my thing, my tag?" And I think she, was just kind of taken aback, and she was like, "Well, what's wrong with you?" And I said, "Lady, this is none of your business. And go on. You can follow me outside if you want." She's like, "Well, I'm not going to follow you." And I'm like, "I know you're not, because you're scared, but you're so bold." And it's just funny. I think growing up the way I did, you start to kind of laugh and defuse um, people, because everyone has different perspectives on things, and people do things for different reasons. But a lot of these Karen videos is just privilege and arrogance and thinking that you own something that you don't, and that you have a right to speak in somebody's life of what they should and shouldn't do. There was a time for all that. I know people love things to go back to the 50s. I've been in, meetings, and I've talked about that before, where folks say, in Texas Tech, I remember, I love the 50s, and people are just clapping like sheep that they love the 50s. But the 50s in America weren't anything for if you were black, if you were brown, if you were Asian. You had your own struggle. If you were Jewish, you had your own struggle, right? So, nah, and nobody wants to really go back to the 50s, American 50s. But what will you do when a Karen comes to you? You should really think about that. Prepare your mind. Are you going to go all bad, and like the shirt says, peaks and valleys? Are you going to check someone? I always see in the comments folks said, "Oh, I would have beat this person up. I would have whooped this trick. I would have did this and that." And I'm for necessary violence. I'm not anti-violence at all. Um, Old Testament with it, but you can't whoop everybody, and that takes a lot of energy. And then they want to, if you notice, all these people then call the police, and they get on, even though they started, they could throw the first punch. I'm calling the police. They really think they have a right to put their hands on you. They think they have a right to step in front of your car. And every state is different, and so is every situation. So you may not necessarily want to just knock somebody out, just because they're standing in front of you, because it might cost you more time than just calling the police and having them, remove the person and film it and get yourself some good content to go viral. Like, do not give in to the devil's temptation. It's not worth it. Because I've had my own situations, but I was a kid though, and you check these people, and even from as a kid, you check them, you hurt them. Now they're making you feel bad because they're bloody, bruised. They don't know if they're gonna see out their eye the right way. They don't know, what's gonna happen, right? You hit them, with something because you were in fear of your life, and it's really just easier to kind of walk away. It's easier too not to talk to these people. Like, these are practical things. Like, I don't have to talk to you. Let me just call the people. Let them do their job. I don't feel like I have to police the world. I cannot fix everybody's problem. And really, there's some real mental health issues, with people worldwide. And if you do check this person and you physically harm them, now you got to think, man, I harmed this woman, I harmed this person who has a mental illness. They're not all the way even there, and now with the COVID times, I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get. But what would y'all do to when or if this happens? You know, because I see the comments, but in comments, people talk tough. Everybody's tough and bad in the comments, and they want to be funny, and I get it because I like to troll too. But what is the appropriate thing to do? I think it's just to get on the phone. All the proving that you are a tough guy, girl, whatever. People are going to put respect on your name, all that costs you. I mean, we're even seeing that with every week it's some entertainer. This week it's Nick Cannon. Say the wrong thing, and people are like, "Oh, we got your back," this and that, until they don't have your back because they're not paying for your back. They're not going to pay Nick Cannon for, if he took everything online on YouTube. He's really not going to pay like, Viacom and Fox and all these other places are paying. And then, so when he does apologize, now you got people ready to cancel him because he apologized, and I guess he scrubbed some of his more controversial interviews off, and I don't know if he went against the minister or not, but when did it become like I have to agree with you? I always find it funny when people get on my social media, and y'all know I don't care what you think. I didn't ask your opinion, and I didn't ask for your help because you probably couldn't afford to help me when I need it. But if I don't agree with you, like this cancel culture is funny, and that's why with even the Karen thing, like they in their mind may really have an issue. I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to talk to you as long as you don't put hands on me. And then you think about putting hands on people that if you're a trained fighter, if you were one of those people, you were in the boxing gym, the karate, the jiu-jitsus, my girls do jiu-jitsu, if you were into all that, you have an upper hand. If you're even in shape, you might have an upper hand of somebody who's not in shape. Think about you putting hands on somebody and they had COVID or some other condition and they, are dead. You're talking about killing somebody over what? Let the police do their job. And I've never had to call them, but I'm glad. But I think there's a way that using verbal judo, which is a class I think everybody should take. You can even YouTube something on it. But I had to take a course for it for some training. But there's a way to diffuse people, and we can all just get along. In the words of Rodney King, I just find it. I'm addicted to the Karen videos, just like the the trash shows, 90 Day Fiance. I'm addicted to that too, But I get to do work, and I get to watch this, just trash. Like you just wish people knew better. You wish people could do better. You wish people had more common sense, But remember, a lot of folks didn't have two parents. A lot of people didn't have really one because that parent didn't have any common sense. So they're trying to figure it out at a later age than you figured it out. And that's more of a blessing than anything that you had somebody to tell you common sense, check you, beat you, whatever they had to do. Tell you, no, you don't go out. You ever see how many men and women don't know how to even pick a date, not to even speak of a spouse? And so then they find out, 2 years later, oh, I got a loser. But you keep picking losers because you don't even ask for, wise counsel. Man, straight out the scriptures with that. So, it's just, what are you going to do when these Karens come to you? This cancel culture of not agreeing, think about these things and don't get caught up in the mix. Like, live your life, man. It's businesses that need to be made. Things are going to get worse before they get better. And if you are prepared for the worst, if you are taking the courses and classes and getting the mentorship, from whomever you think you need it from, you're going to be in a better position to make some money. Because, I mean, foreclosures, man, they're coming back like it was 2008. And you need to find yourself a COVID foreclosure business. Man, I have a whole nother story about finding a car, but I think I would save it, but I'm not going to save it. I'm going to tell you, for those who have an ear to hear, me buying a car, I had cash money ready to buy a new car, a brand new car. In Florida, cash isn't king. So cash isn't king. They want to make money off the finance or the lease, or they want to make money off something from the bank, even if it's just 1%. So what they tell me is cash isn't king. And I said, well, people aren't buying cars like that. Because I'm coming from Seattle, for the last 6 years. I'm like, people aren't buying cars. I mean, I've seen the dealerships. They've all been closed. They said, not in Florida, baby. Everything's been open, right? So in Florida, they said in May, they sold more cars than ever because they said people were going to lose their job, but they had good credit. And so they bought new cars. They're going to pay the payment as much as they can, wait for the government to bail them out, keep giving them some checks once they, 45 million people unemployed. They said, they'll fix their credit later, but they wanted to have a new car, which only in America does that make sense? Because some folks may have been coming up on their car and just needed to re-op on their car. Maybe they didn't have the cash, right? But that they go get brand new cars. And that's what the dealer wants to sell you. So it's just like the American system. You go try that in most of the world, and you're going to end up all the way just without a car. You'll be on the bus with the majority of the population, no matter where you're at. And in a lot of places, being on the bus isn't a bad thing. Through Malta, we were through Malta. The bus is like $1.25 through the whole island. And it was a beautiful thing, especially if you got a family and, and the bus is easy. Like, I don't like to drive when I go overseas. So, that's part of going overseas. Me drive? Nah. But the bus was cool. Of course, they have the Uber type systems everywhere. But I just tell you, let's prepare our pockets, our properties. I don't want to hear somebody with 5 properties, especially y'all in California, especially y'all in California, but the whole West Coast. And then when the foreclosure market comes, you start crying to people how hard it was. Nobody told you to get 5 properties that you couldn't afford. You were playing a game, and sometimes in the game, you get on the losing end, but you can bounce back, which many people did bounce back. But you got multiple properties, but you don't have the cash to hold them. And, I'm holding, and I'm waiting for some deals. I'm gonna be looking for some where are these $49 million properties in Florida by the water, right on the water. How much are they going for? Trying to pay pennies on the dollar because that's the way that it would make sense. And you don't want to laugh at anybody's hard times, and that's not what we're doing. But we're saying they're coming, and some people are still spending. I saw Robert Kiyosaki say he almost owes $1 billion. And he's playing a tax game with that. But be smart in your game. And a lot of people, you're not smart, and you think that you can get over on people, and then we're supposed to feel sorry for you. I just don't have that in me, because when you were, on the private jets, you were in the Testarossa, you were in the Aston Martin, all was good. Now you want someone to bail you out and help you out. And it's just not going to go like that. So hold on to some cash, create a business, because jobs seem to be scarce, and they may be scarcer. Even churches that were banking, because they were banking on those tithes and offering. Now, if they can't get them, they start crying. And like Kenneth Copeland said, stick it under the door, text it on the doohickey thing, oh man, Kenneth Copeland, it doesn't stop. But even the churches, I know for years, we told churches, man, get websites, get apps, get this. We'll do it for you. Oh, no, we're not ready for that. We got to go speak to Mother Jenkins, Mother Jennings, Mother this, Mother that. It's like, man, I don't feel sorry for you either. You know, maybe it's if you weren't set up online, you weren't ready to go out to the whole world in this new age. And that's really what this COVID thing seems to be. It's knocking out a lot of, it wants the new, and I'll put the mask on. I know people, oh man, we're like sheep, and this is like Nazi Germany. Shut up. You haven't even studied Germany or been, you know, anywhere close to. You weren't there. Talking about Nazi Germany. I can't stand when people say things just to talk, because that was a real thing. And I've been to the Anne Frank house. And if you're a person, you can feel the vibe when you're at the Anne Frank house of just, you can feel it. Like they had to like stay in here for years. And it's not like us. We're staying in here with cable and internet and able to do work and Instacart and Uber Eats and Lyft and all these different things, but they were fearing for their life that somebody would come kick down the door and take them off. It's not the same thing at all. It is not the same thing at all. And when people say that, Nazi America, these are the same people who are supposed to love America. This is the same, Trump supporters. You guys know I rock independent, so I'm going with my interests. But these are the same people who know Trump could do no wrong, Republicans could do no wrong, and they're talking about Nazi America, and it's some of your same Republicans are saying put on the mask. You saw Trump have it, so I don't get it, but I don't have to get it because I live in my own little bubble. And if you come in my bubble, this is the way it's going to be. And it's an acquired taste. Not looking for a huge audience because I want to say what I want to say and I don't want to pander. I don't want to think about an audience. If anything, I'm preaching to me and mine to say, this is my warning. These are my tips. This is what's worked for me. This is what didn't work for me. So I wouldn't do it. Kind of like multi-level marketing. That didn't work for me. I had somebody the other day, and I know she was on my Facebook, text me about multi-level marketing a couple of weeks ago. I said, oh, I'm not interested. And then she called me. It's like midnight, which I take calls at all the time, but I was, trying to get my snuggle on. And I'm like, don't call me if I say no to you. Nobody is cool like that. Okay, who you are. You don't have to be like in my family, but in the inner circle, one of my aunties who raised me, you're not gonna just call me. And then she texted me the next day saying, hey, the meeting. I said, remember, I'm not interested in multi-level marketing. You're doing, whatever, your third business, and this is it. Like, multi-level marketing is not for me. It's not cool. But if it's for you, that's cool. It's just not for me. My networking is not going to buy stuff like that for me. And I don't like multi-level marketing needs my services. And that's where I flip it back. I flip it. Anytime you want to sell something to me, I'm going to sell two things to you. Because I got other things that you don't even know that I do. And people always are surprised, like, Kellen, oh, I didn't even know you were into that. Okay, you're going to spend some money? Oh, okay, if you're not, keep it like that. Just go. Let's make a move. But, I love the entrepreneur thing. And if you can figure out something that's COVID free, foreclosure free, when people need you, they just don't want you. Consulting, people needed during these times. Hey, we want to, get in the media, or we want to do this, we want to do that. Okay, we need coaching. A lot of folks need coaching, they just don't know it. And I don't even say we coach, but we consult. So you can say that. It's just that I've done a lot of business, and the people I do business with have done a ton of business. So we can make this happen, make this work. But yeah, I'm not into any of these fake, investments and anything like that. But wanted to be on here real short. Maybe I'll come back on if I think of some more game to give you guys. Check out the Diversified Game podcast where I have entrepreneurs, from 6 to 7 above figures, giving you the game and showing you how they did their businesses and many of them have coaching and consulting and whatnot. But if you don't have a coach, if you don't have a mentor, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be in that place for a long time that you're in. You're going to struggle because you're going to have to go through the bumps that somebody else can show you. Oh no, don't do that, don't do that. And I get it. If you don't, if you know, you're one of those people. Some people like the bumps. I like coaching. We're in coaching constantly, constant coaching. And I cannot say um, coaching doesn't work. Where here I am consulting, and people, even YouTubers, they're like, you know, well, how much is it? And I tell them what the price is, and they say, oh wow, that's a lot of money. But I have a package that's really not a lot of money. It's $9.99, and I've had it for years. And you get 4 hours of time. 4 hours of my time is going to be like 40 hours worth of homework for you. Because it's gonna take you a minute for all the things that's just gonna pop off my brain and be like, okay, but do this, but do that. And a lot of people, they're not ready to do those things that they need to do to get where they want. Many people are gonna fall off short, but I'm worth your purse, I'm worth your car that you have, I'm worth all of that because it's not just a me thing, it's a Coleman PR, it's a CPR firm thing, and so I tell people, if you want the time, you book the time. But I just wanted to know what y'all were gonna do when a Karen came to you. That's that. I'm gonna wrap it up. I might be back. Let me know if you have questions, topics. But out here in Florida, I'm loving you. Even though you're not quarantining, you're not shutting down for nothing. We got to have that same energy when it's election time. When your family members are in the hospital, we need that same energy too. It'd be like, no, we'd rather be free and die than to, put a mask on and social distance. I'm talking about everything's open, people. Everything is open. Everything is open. Everything. Movie theaters, golf course, kids golf course, everything is open. They don't care at all. So, you know, that's that. Y'all be blessed. And I'm out.